Smith and Martin Lawrence, I'm a bad boy. When I got to the cash, ain't got in my bag, boy. Please don't think it's sweet, I stay with the heat even though I'm a sad boy. You better watch the way you breathe around me for that breath be your last, boy.
I've been drinking red boy. I've been chopping out these birds, McCoy. No one made my rich in really 9 months. Overseas, honey skin.
While Pickums and BJ had just been told the news from Luffy, they shout so loud that it echoes and everyone hears it outside the hut they're in, but they ignore it for now. Momonosuke. Momonosuke. Huh? Zenesha? He's talking to me. As he holds his hand to his ear, the young shogun asks what's wrong as he paces forward away from everyone, and they're honestly getting a bit worried by the look on his face. At which point Chopper remarks, hasn't it been getting a bit bright? Attack. We're under attack, this force. I felt it before. The Mother Flame. All the Straw Hats crew's eyes would glint red as they look upward and find a massive light behind the personal cloud of Momonosuke getting brighter and closer when Luffy then flies out with a smile. So this is what we're doing now, huh? Momo, remove the cloud or get hurt. Listening to him, Momo whistles loudly as the cloud then compresses itself in an instant, coming back to its side, leaving everyone blinded as a massive laser drops, and they all take cover. This laser encompasses the entirety of the massive elephant, to the point where they could truly see nothing else but light. All the Straws protectively hold their arms over the bodies of everyone, the minks, as do the leaders Doc Storm and Cat Viper, whilst Luffy flies towards the danger and summons to his hand Iya. A giant weapon, is it? Alright, I'll have a bit of fun with you. Enuma Elish. As he thrusts the tip of his blade and makes contact, his smile grows. The weapon becomes bigger and in an instant turns the attack to nothing. It is dispersed, but Luffy keeps rising and rising, and he instantly reaches into outer space and touches an eye. A massive floating mechanical eye. Gotcha. The treasure slowly melts to golden dust as he pulls out the key to his gate and thrusts it into open air. Let's see how you like getting fucked over. Imu and her empire crafted plans to always eliminate their enemies and never have anyone figure out how. This is because this weapon could destroy an entire island with ease and literally any emperor they choose, and because it's in space, no one would ever be able to reach it. But those emperors aren't Luffy, who now holds this weapon in his gate. The disappearance of the weapon is quickly reported to those who control it, and this news would reach Vegapunk, who couldn't stop laughing when he did. I can't believe he really did that. Oh, come on. It's a bit funny, right, Sentomaru? As he looks to the man, he replies, you couldn't have told him about me? I mean, I almost died fighting him. Luffy wouldn't do that. Why not? Well, you see, he can peer into the hearts of others. Quite literally. It scientifically makes no sense with anything, hockey-related or not. He definitely read your memories. Didn't he warn you? Thinking back, Sentomaru realizes that when Luffy also said he had nothing against them as they were fighting, he truly meant it. He knew of his origins. I dodged a bullet. Oh, yeah, he can be vicious. I'm sure you saw Kizaru being tossed around. He must have been boring. The hell's that supposed to mean? It's just something he says the old man. Meanwhile, back at Zao, the samurai and pirates gathered to Momonosuke's chambers. So that's the plan. What do you guys think? Asked Luffy. Sanji asks, well, can you repeat the marriage part again? Sanji, no, seriously, because we could use this to our advantage. My family sucks. Like, sucks horribly. More horrible than Luffy's relationship with Rules. Damn. So if they're doing this, whatever their goal is, it's going to be horrific then, said Kiyomon. Oh, no doubt. Vinsmoke Judge is a disgusting man that I've loathed to call my father. All he cares about is war. You and him would get along well, Luffy. Oh yeah, have a nice cup of tea, then I could break his head to pieces. How dare you abandon my cook? Chopper shouts, yeah, Sanji's the best. He's alright. Shut up, mosshead. And I propose a 2-head front attack, Kawamatsu says. We split the group. It would be the best way to get things done. And then we can destroy the world government, says Luffy. Yes, I like that. Luffy can sense that they're all a bit, put off by this plan of his to destroy the world government, but he says, I'm sure of everything. I've planned this for years and years. It's been a long time coming. Now, obviously, our samurai will head to Wano. How exactly? I've heard our island is strenuous to enter. Even Lord Odin couldn't have left if he wanted to. Well, that's what you have Vimano for, said Robin. I keep forgetting about your treasures. Luffy then begins to levitate and clears his throat. Alright, now off we pop. Cause mayhem. Gotta live up to a reputation. Nami set sail for Whole Cake Island and we call for Peckham's and Beija. Ooh, and Sanji, make me a steak. Seriously? What? I'm not gonna have her cooking for days. I think I might go crazy. Break on 3. 1, 2, 3. Break. Suddenly, they then hear their names being called. And the group exits out to the balcony. And there they would see Cat Viper screaming, "He's back! Jack is back!" Ooh, said Luffy. Let's pay our friend a visit, guys. Start getting ready. I'll tell him off. He blasts off to the edge of Zhao's borders, and more specifically towards its behind. And as he reaches it, after passing forest after forest, he senses a group down below. 7 ships present, and the spirit of Jack slowly begins to lower and lower as the Harbinger makes his way down. Instinctively, they begin to shake, shiver, all of them. Their teeth even clack, as if they were cold. The stop of Luffy's descent then rises waves towards their ship and stunts their advance. Welcome to the humble abode of Zunisha. Well, not that he has much of a choice. As the groan of the elephant sounds off, Luffy says, yeah, I know. It's not a bad deal, though. Who's he talking to, thought Jack. No, never mind. Whatever happens now, I didn't know that this was part of his territory, but even if it's him, I'll forge forward, but he might kill us or play with us. I really don't know what to do with this. Hey, Jack. In a blink, the fishman sees the Emperor no longer in his sight and is told to look down. When he does, he and his subordinates all retreat a bit, as some even fall to the floor. The other ships pay close attention to his position and are ready to die if needed for the sake of Kaido, in case he ever attacks. Give a message to Kaido for me, and I know he'll honor this. From now on, the curse will be ceased. As he snaps, a pulse of red explodes from his body and disperses. The King of Beasts sits aggressively straight as he finds himself in bed where he spent most of his time for a while now. He looks at his own body and once again checks his wound, but the eerie markings seeping from it were gone and he began to heal. In that instant, a spark of hockey then reaches the deepest parts of his mind. He grows a massive smile. He begins to get out of bed and runs out as he breaks his doors. And from the main area, as his men were in somber, they begin to feel Onigashima shake when a massive dragon breaks out from the sleeping chambers and rises. Captain Kaido! Oh my god, did he finally heal? I knew he'd come back. His overwhelming spirit brings King and Queen from their long slumber of boredom as they enter the main hall and see their captain laughing. Straw Hat, thank you. Now I can finally get a rematch. Using his observation with the curse tied to Kaido's dissipating body, Luffy left a message in his mind. In exchange for leaving Wano Kuni alone, nothing less, nothing more, he promises to visit so they can finally end all of this. As we return to Zhao, Luffy watches as the Beast Pirates ride off back to Wano, and he now wears a more serious look. Yeah, let's do it. And this once and for all. For real this time. Alright, let's do this thing. I should call the guys. From his gate then drops a transponder and he catches it as he dials up a new number or whatever, and fracturing before him, the man himself, Sai, shows up in hologram form. Oh, Straw Hat, what the hell took you so long? Popping his head, and Cavendish says that he's far too lax for a commander. When he's then pushed back by Sai, Luffy chuckles. Come on, don't be like that. I got a job for us. Ready to make that debut? Oh, you know I've been waiting. Princess Vivi, please get down from there at once, shouts Igarappua. He urges her to get down from the crow's nest while they were boarding the ship to head for the revelry. And he says, please, there could be assassins waiting to snipe you or something. Just get down. You worry too much, says Pell. She's traveled with pirates before. We don't want the whole world to know that, you know? There are Marines with us. Well, no offense to them, but what the hell can they do about it? Well, still. Cobra had already taken his seat meanwhile and lets out a few coughs as Chaka would then ask if he's truly okay, if he's ready to go on this journey. Yes, I'm alright. I've been itching to get this meeting underway ever since I met Nico Robin long ago. And Luffy. I've been meaning to ask the world government a few things. Days pass as we then return to the Straw Hats, and they have now split up. Usopp, Zoro, Sanji, Frankie go to Wano along with the Samurai and Momo. Meanwhile, everyone else, along with Pedro and Carrot, head for Whole Cake. However, Sanji returned home with Kapan and Peckham's escorting him. Luffy had to be very patient this time because they couldn't just move until Sanji signaled that he had arrived and when he had reunited with his family. and begrudgingly, he told them when he arrived there, and so finally the Straw Hats moved and arrived. Whoa, it's all made out of chocolate. Chopper, look. With these words, Luffy flies out into town, literally named Chocolate, by the way, which is freaking funny. Oda has a weird sense of naming. And a few pedestrians take notice of the Emperor and his crew walking the streets and just flaunting about. Man, there are even minks here, said Carrot. Yeah, well, that's what it's supposed to be. Big Mom is big on, hey, stop eating that, shouts Peckham's. As he takes out a piece of a store and bites into it, Luffy gives it to Chopper and he starts to, eat it as well. Before then, both look at him and Luffy asks, want a bite? No, stop eating it. That's an actual house. By the way, just to reiterate in case you might have forgotten, present are Luffy, Nami, Chopper, Brook, Carrot, and Pedro. And I know it's been a while. Honestly, One Piece is long. Details are always left out sometimes when I talk. And honestly, obviously, their plan wasn't to stay hidden, as you can tell. But this did catch the attention of the guards. These guards, however, were too scared to speak up, so a certain girl did as she huffed. How could you do such a thing? Asked Pudding. Knocking him on the head, Nami apologizes for Luffy, saying, he's an idiot sometimes. Yep, that's me, always. Drop the chocolate, Chopper. Oh, sorry, our bad. It's just so good. Well, as long as you understand, but you guys look a little familiar. Yeah, people always say that anyway. You're her, aren't you? My cook's wife, well, soon to be. Huh? Well, you're Straw Hat Luffy? All passing pedestrians think you just realized that. Taking this conversation elsewhere, Pudding brings them to her own little abode, but she found herself being interrogated as a light was shone on her while Luffy sat across from the table with Brook, both wearing dark shades. So, you're the missus who was betrothed to Sanji, says Brook. Prove it. Where did you get the light? Asked the curious Pudding. My gate. But answer the question. What do you know about him? In the back, Pedro asks Nami if Luffy does this a lot because he's doing a bit right now, and she says it's surprising they really get anything done at all. Because he's goofing off all the time, she shouts. Hey, this is important. That's not just my cook, that's my crewmate, my friend. I really want to know. Why, Pudding? How do you think you fare? How do you know I'm the Harbinger, I have a reputation for knowing things. I'll be waiting for your answer, but overall, I'm kind of impressed. As he snaps, the light disappears as Brook would then stand, twirling to her side as he apologizes for the little ruse and gives her a hand like a proper gentleman as she stands. We simply wanted to have a little fun. We're here on more pressing matters. Yeah, where's Big Mom, says Carrot. Wow, I'm saying that so casually. It'll start to happen more often, says Chopper. Awesome! Well, my mom didn't exactly expect your arrival to be this early, but as we speak, she's in whole cake. I know, like I said, just wanted to know about you. I've seen all I needed. Alright guys, let's go. And also get ready to change some new clothes. Oh, is it needed for the talk? Asked Pedro. Nah, don't be ridiculous. It'll just look cooler. Yeah, like I said, Nami remarks. All the time. Never know how we finish anything. He's nothing like I expected at all, but the way he struts around things Pudding, it's like he owns everything. This is what his captain's like. I wonder what Sanji's like then. Get out of my damn kitchen, shouts Sanji. As we find him at Germa, he had occupied the kitchen as he has to deal with Yonji now, even though he was having a nice little moment, and the two stared at one another ready to kill, it seemed, which left the chefs and servers scared, and Sanji took notice of this. Step out, the meal's gonna be ready in a bit. So this is what you really do all day on that ship, even though you're with a Yonko. Suits you a lot, what a disgrace. The Harbinger. Suddenly, as his knife struck a platter, Sanji's haki rose as his brother broke into a nervous sweat. Are you mocking my captain? Shit. Having realized what he just said, the usually brash Yonji turns meek as Sanji approaches him and slowly says, I didn't come here to rehash old memories, brother. I'm here to fulfill duty. But if you make another comment about Luffy, I'll destroy Germa by tonight. Are we clear? Yes. Good, now get out. He turns and gets out, slamming the door shut, and the kitchen turns silent as the chefs now wondered if they would incur his wrath next. But Sanji turned with his old demeanor returning. Sorry about that, you guys. Huh? He's not mad at us? Are we being punished? Walking back to his station, Sanji picks up his knife. Yeah, don't know what you guys were told, but I'm not a Vinsmoke. I'm a long way from my real home, my real family, but you guys aren't half bad. Also, watch that heat. Oh, right. Because they're professionals, everyone quickly gets back to work because they are still preparing lunch, supper, whatever. But while doing so, they recognize that Sanji truly cares about cooking. From their point of view, it seemed like he kicked out Yonji because he was halting their job and just kind of messing up with their whole rhythm, and it couldn't help but admire him for that. Sanji just then sees the head chef looking for something and asks, we out of something? Is it important? Oh, yes, Prince. I'm missing some green onions. Oh, okay. I call forth the cloth of the north. Before him, a red, long, folded cloth comes into being as he catches it, much to everyone's amazement, and he walks over, holds it out open, lays it on a table, asking for green onions, and suddenly a whole batch pops out. That's incredible. How is that possible? It must be one of the treasures. Don't you know about that? Oh, you know about that, Sanji? Well, yes, rumors spread that your captain already has every treasure one could want in his possession, or her possession. Frankly, it's something out of a fairy tale. Yeah, it feels like that sometimes. Now I'm going to leave this right here, and if you're not me, you're going to have to actually touch it and ask instead of just asking, but it'll give you anything you need. And if anyone, and I mean anyone, and by anyone I mean my siblings, do something, I'll know. So don't hide it and just tell me, I'll handle it. Alright? Come on, back to it. What do you need me to do, sir? Oh, what? Yes, I need you to help with dessert. On it. Meanwhile, at Whole Cake, Jinbe made his declaration to the previously rampaging Big Mom who had stopped one of her latest hunger pangs. How does this woman run a freaking country?
わしはここを辞めて麦わらの一味に入りたい.
After this, he will be taken to her castle, and she laid in her throne while taking bites from candy. And she has a lot of candy. It is Big Mom. You really came here to tell me I'll be handing you over to the Straw Hats? No, I'll be leaving. I have a prior engagement to that man. As he said this, we have a flashback to when he witnessed her calling Fishman Island for candy and raged about her delivery of sweets being late. Where is it? Are you stupid? Sweet delivery, asked Luffy. This voice. Who the hell are you? Name's Luffy. You can call me... Yeah, Luffy. I'm not really big for introductions. Anyway, you're not getting to get any more candy. Sorry. The hell did you just... Oh, we got a problem? Going from more lax to a more terrifying tone, he leaves her quiet as the fishermen surrounding Luffy can never get used to his change in demeanor and this pressure he exudes. Whitebeard might be gone, but I think you're forgetting I still exist. Grow the fuck up. Candy, what are you, 5? Never call this line again or I'll bring down Whole Cake. Bye. As he puts down the transponder and cuts the call, crushing it even, Linlin shivered to shame, anger, jealousy as she exploded and released a complete wipeout of a blast of Conqueror's hockey and went into another Hunger Pang episode. Seriously, how does this woman run a freaking country? Returning to present, we see Big Mom show a grin. Bring me the roulette. Her guards are left terrified by the mention of this, but they don't have a choice but to bring it. A roulette dictating how many years she would take from someone is then brought before her. As for the gang, back on their journey to Whole Cake, it took them about until next day sunrise, meaning that of course Jinbe has already made his choice, and honestly, Big Mom don't scare Jinbe. I mean, she don't scare me either. She's just a big fat blob. But things go a little bit differently in the forest filled with homies. No creature present wants to die, so they just don't move at all. They try to make it seem like they're actually normal, shut their eyes and just don't dance and don't be annoying. But they also just get caught and just get destroyed or something. It's really funny, but I don't want to describe the scene because I'm imagining a all-powerful Luffy just carrying the crap out of an entire forest that's alive, and it's just so crazy. But I don't want to mention it, but I can't because this video is going to be long enough as is. Anyway, they save a certain massive man from being in a massive crater. You know who this is. This is, the father that actually tried to come back but couldn't. He came back with the milk. But they continue along their path. They saved him. He's good. And then they were met by a certain woman. Oh, hey, it's a witch, says Luffy. Brule struggles to keep her cool, at which point Nami says that's rude. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean in a bad way. You look super cool. Huh? Okay. I'm here as an envoy of Mama. Just how many kids does this woman have? Anyway, take me to your leader, says Luffy. I love saying that. Using her mirrors, Brule takes them to her pocket dimension and then to Big Mom's throne, and as they step through, the pressure of the Emperor and everything that is just like about her is noticeable. At the very least, it's understandable why she's called Big Mom, because she's incredibly imposing. This is what Carrot and Pedro think, but, well, this room is weird as hell, just like that forest, says Luffy. He then rose to Big Mom's eyes. I think we need a room like this on the Sunny. Currently, they were in the Queen's Chambers, and they reside in Sweet City and are actually in Whole Cake. So they're also in Whole Cake Chateau. This room was filled with homies running around, a bunch of pillows, cutesy stuff, and they were serving up tea and cake right before the two emperors. And of course, present are Zeus, Prometheus, and Napoleon. Hey, don't go overboard, Sanami. We're still here for a meeting. Oh yeah, right. How goes it, Lin Lin? Can I call you Lin Lin? Go right ahead. I'll call you Monkey then. No problem. Nice place you got here. Why did you want a meeting, by the way? I'm just surprised you actually agreed to your cook joining my family. I honestly thought you would just do what you do to everyone else. Destroy their entire crew, dispatch them. The thought came to mind. She lets out a nervous sweat, but did her best to hide this, and instead said that he would find many things about her abode to enjoy. Oh yeah, I found multiple already. The seducing woods, right? Yeah, we met that giant guy, said Carrot. So tell me, Big Mom, how is it that despite being called a mom, you're so bad and terrible while holding up your own title? Why did you just shut up? You really don't learn, do you? She swallows her next words as she almost lets her anger to get the best of her again, and this wasn't her scolding one of her kids, and clearly Luffy is pissed right now. I told him to get rid of that useless bastard, thinks Lin Lin. See, if there's one thing I don't like about most pirates, it's that they don't get it, you know? They don't understand the fun. Live a little, it'll do you some good. What you don't have to do is act like a dick because you can. Those aren't pirates, they're just outlaws. Are you seriously saying that? Asked Big Mom. Did you seriously name yourself Big Mom? Don't patronize me. You heard what I said. I said the thought of destroying this place crossed my mind, didn't I? As she instantly in that moment reaches for Prometheus, she finds her arm shackled with Luffy's group backing up, and Luffy's gaze turned murderous. I see into your soul, Lin Lin, a petulant child who never grew up. It's about time someone taught you a lesson. Out in Sweet City, whilst everyone is just using their normal day-to-day time like usual, suddenly an explosion goes off, and everyone turns around to see a comet. No, a pillow? It's Mama! Run! Sent into a panic, they can only run from the giant empress as she crashes into the streets and promptly stands, wiping the blood from her mouth. She knew this would happen, and two big egos like this clashing, there was no way they were never gonna fight. And there's no way you're leaving without losing a limb, Harbinger. In a flash, the Emperor appears before the Empress, striking her across the face as Zeus would move, blocking this, only to be obliterated as he releases the supreme collar of Haki, that then hits and slams Big Mom to the floor. Can you settle on one name already? He shouted. Up in the chateau, all of Big Mom's children ran up and came to her chambers, where they saw the Straw Hat group looking through the giant hole at the battle below. The ones that came first, though, would be Katakuri, Oven, and Smoothie. Just then, Brook pushed everyone aside as they avoided the mochi fist of Katakuri, which then slings back, and he himself would thrust, bursting and releasing a massive sound wave that rebounds around the entire area, making the three hold their ears in pain. Ah, that annoying skeleton. Yo, you're hurting my feelings, but we must bid you adieu. As Carrot stands, she then pulls out a transponder. We're ready. Suddenly, they all turn to light and disappear, as Katakuri with a shout then runs and jumps out the window, and he begins to free fall. Oh my god, they just started all this destruction. Each strike that was met with another was enough to rupture through matter itself, as towers and houses began to fall, and more people fled to the forest. However, they had heard of Luffy, of course. Even despite being an emperor, he is fairly neutral in a way, and every land he's visited has actually become better, more powerful. Because he's an emperor, the news can't twist things without getting massive, like... Luffy doesn't go after Big News Morgan, but Big News Morgan doesn't want to die, so he doesn't twist things when it comes to Luffy. He finds it funny, honestly, so he just tells the straight-up truth. The guy is more of a hero than he is a pirate. And they're hoping that he beats Big Mom. We can finally not be scared anymore. We can keep our lifespans. Prometheus, meanwhile, grows and enlarges in size as Big Mom turns all her broken bones to homies, thus healing herself and beginning to stand in the wreckage she finds herself in. She only grows more and more giant and monstrous with the use of her powers, and Luffy approaches, gathering 100 weapons behind himself. Napoleon, grow! As the blade grows giant, her hair is lit ablaze by flames, as is Napoleon, as she willingly turns rabid in an attempt to not lose, no matter what. With her conqueror spirit, she swings upwards, launching a blast of energy as Luffy summons Susagana, a massive flaming blade that swings down and clashes with it. It tears through the ground beneath, and some houses melt since they are made of chocolate and sweets after all, before being turned to mere ashes. They struggle back and forth, but Big Mom is the only one getting tired as Luffy has no need to even grab the sword. It's too giant after all. Just then, however, an auto defensor blocks an attack from a fist covered in haki. Luffy looks up and Katakuri detaches Mochi from himself that turned to fist that continued to rain down with incredible force. Get away from Mama! Yes, you're my favorite from now on. Come on, Straw Hat. Break. Let me see you break. The fists would rain down and get stronger and stronger with every impact, with the big brother striking using all his power, and Luffy stays unresponsive. But then he finally spoke. The adults are talking. Come on, bud. Buzz off. With one stare, he sends him flying as he takes physical damage with his conqueror spirit hitting him and his Mochi flopping to the floor as he craters back into the chateau. Big Mom thought this would have been her chance, but Luffy had lost no focus between the laps when he was sneak attacked to when he was being pressed. If anything, he was getting stronger, and she only got more scared. The sky began to split from the mere meeting of their wills until Luffy's blade pressed and passed through the blast, and then Napoleon that then shatters, and her stomach is pierced, her eyes blank out. The moment she hits the ground, her beating heart slowly comes to a stop as Susagana disappears, and behind Luffy appear his group on the floor. Obviously, they can't fly. Taking care of Luffy, says Chopper. Good. Did you get any snacks, he asked. Nah, he was busy, but we honestly should clean up before he gets here. Yo, on guard. Nami calls forth her hammer as she points to the skies and darkens the clouds more than they already are, and the entirety of Big Mom's children and her actual army charge for them. Each and every one of her children come to wage war, and even as powerful as Luffy is, taking on an army of 100,000, this including her soldiers, shouldn't be easy, but even in the face of all this, he and his crewmates smile. What do I always say? Let's cause some mayhem, shouts Chopper. With a shout, Nami brings down the thunder, blinding us as we cut to another scene. The moving German ship slowly approaches the archipelago of Totoland, where Big Mom's islands are all held, but the royal family take to the dining room, where Judge doesn't even sit down. He sits on his throne. He brought the dining room to the throne room. God, this guy is so full of himself. And he watches as his kids eat, not even participating, when something quite bizarre occurs. Laying down plate after plate, Sanji comes to take a seat himself. You may now dig in. If you waste a drop, I'll kill you. You're happy, said Reiju. Oh, I'm happy. Am I happy, Judge? I honestly never know with you. Are emotions okay to express? Oh my god, I'm talking like Luffy. So it's your captain who filled your head with all of this, eh? Asked Judge. Oh, you have a problem with Luffy? No, I never said that. Sanji then bursts into laughter, hurting his father's ego, whilst his siblings can only look nervous and look down at their plate and begin to eat. But, what the? Did you drug this? Shouts Stitchy. That's actually good. It's called skill, you weirdo. You guys definitely have most of your emotions removed, but I bet deep down there's one that can't be erased. Pleasure, a sense of fulfillment, something. Such things are needed for conquering, said Judge. And that's why I can't stand any of you. I only came to say that you are the absolute worst people I've ever met. I'm not even happy about feeding you. That's rare. See you around. As he stands and walks off, Yonchi stands. What the hell are you talking about? What do you mean, see you around? Just as he turns, everyone feels an explosion go off as guards would take cover when the gates that are the exit out of this throne room are blown open to show flames, and Sanji looks at them confused. You seriously thought I was just gonna do what you said? My captain is Monkey D. Luffy. Always expect the unexpected. Seriously, he's a nutcase sometimes. Judge would stand abruptly. That direction. Our clone soldiers, you failure! Nichi turns invisible and reappears behind his brother for a kick to shatter his spine when flaming golden rings bash into his skull and send him crashing into the ceiling. As he begins to fall, Sanji jumps and lands on the ring as it spins and another one comes into existence as he steps on it. It explodes with flames and so does he. Today, the Germa kingdom comes to an end. I promise you. Just then, as they realize they have been cornered, a snail rings for a judge who brings it out of his pocket and hears something terrifying. The kids look to him asking what's wrong. Oh, don't be afraid. Tell them, Judge. Tell them everything. Falling to his knees, the once prideful man exclaimed that the Big Mom pirates are already reported to being annihilated. The whole archipelago is being conquered as they speak. And that means literally every island is being fired on by gate attacks. I'm not even joking. Luffy is literally destroying everyone using observation haki while he's also fighting the main army. Oh, you won't find any of your staff, by the way. The moment that thing went off, they left, courtesy of a reindeer. Now come on, let's have one last family reunion, you bastards. We return to Whole Cake Island, and we see a cowering Pudding who had taken off the veil of niceties. That damn psycho, he really killed Mama. I mean, I don't care, but what are we gonna do now? All of them against an army and they're smiling. They're insane. Hey there. Startled, she turns and sees Luffy as she stands no longer putting up a front. Clearly she's terrified, but seems intent on dying here if she has to, because she has some form of care for her siblings. If she's gonna fight, she's gonna go down fighting for them. Sanji's gonna be here soon, you know. Maybe you'll get to talk after all. You know that's not what Mama was thinking about. Oh yeah, what else does someone with a brain like that do when this kind of opportunity comes up? Regardless, yeah, he's gonna like you. What are you talking about? Well, it's easy for me to read people, you know. There's a reason you're still alive. If you were a jerk from the beginning, you never would have stepped out of that house that day. Trust me. Alright, bye. He leaps to the sky, knocking her against the wall as she looks up and watches light and lightning drop along with Nami's attacks. Pedro and Carrot have also been given a few treasures, by the way, to protect themselves. Pedro himself is stuck facing the genie of Daifuku as the genie would attack while having foot soldiers also distract him, which clearly is getting in his way and nearly gets his neck and head chopped off. But when he stepped back, avoiding the genie's halberd, he immediately called upon his treasure, and in a flash, it was like he disappeared. The next instant, he was right before Daifuku, who was forced to keep rubbing his belly to maintain his genie, so the human creature was torn to bits right before his eyes, and he himself was cut down, unable to do anything, because again, he has to rub his belly to keep the genie out, and he gags on his own blood as he fucking dies. Well, not dies. No one ever dies in One Piece. Jesus, whatever. He falls out cold. With a spin, Pedro then reveals a claw-like gauntlet, which he would use to spin around and release unseen slashes that tear through bodies like butter. Think of this like cleave and dismantle. I literally made it a fucking... Yeah, I know. I'm not exactly being creative, but it's a pretty cool item. He would claw his way through, passing Carrot afterwards, and she would crash with a drop kick onto the chest of Smoothie. She shows metal boots that reach up to her thighs. She then jumps again, crashing again, taking to the sky like a maniac. And Nami is striking people now with lightning. Chopper still has his gun near, so his monster form and everything else is also helping. Brook's rapier is literally turning people to mush, because he can match sound frequencies to things now. And Luffy faces the next big threat. Katakuri has made a comeback, but he decides to stay on ground for this, just to face Katakuri, man to man. He proceeds to weave each and every mochi punch, even as they retract back and forth, getting stronger and faster each time they miss. Hey, why are you even fighting me? Asked Luffy. Shouldn't it be obvious? She didn't care about you. You don't know that. Well, maybe she did, but definitely not in the way you want her to. With these words, the Emperor stomps, causing the city to shake and startling everyone for a moment, which also makes Katakuri lose footing for 1/1,000,000th of a second, more than enough time for him to be punched to the floor, as Luffy would then close their distance instantly before riddling multiple blows into his body and connecting one that takes him to the sky. When Luffy then snaps and he's stabbed through the stomach from behind and speared to the floor, causing a massive explosion. This catches the attention of all present as the fights would stop for a moment, and from the dust out walks Luffy holding Katakuri at his side, leaving the Big Mom pirates despairing even further. However, Luffy doesn't just throw Katakuri aside, he respectively would lay him down on his back, obviously, and he tells everyone to retreat. This confuses the Big Mom pirates, but as soon as the Straw Hats come to his side, the commanders begin to see people dropping like flies as they foam at the mouth. Damn it, he's gonna take us all out in one fell swoop. It's the Conqueror Spirit. Get him before... Oven, Paris Peril, all of them fall before they even realize. And just like that, the battle ended and Luffy breathes in. Alright, let's go pick up Sanji. Time for Wano. Oh, and Pudding. As he turns, everyone makes way and she's still hiding but comes out as Luffy then says to leave behind a message from him to all of them when they wake up. If I ever hear anything about trafficking, unnecessary killing, unless warranted, obviously, taking people's souls, shouts Chopper. Yeah, that. Basically, run your kingdom like a goddamn kingdom. Got it? She nods aggressively just as from afar they see a bright light. Pudding herself turns, wondering who this was, and right before her, Sanji the cook stopped as the wind he kicked up threw her hair into the air. Pudding panicked as she couldn't believe not only was her entire family destroyed, but Sanji saw her third eye. It's beautiful. Sorry about that. As he lands, his wheels would disappear and he looks at the crew. Hey, where the hell were you guys? I had to fly a whole mile. Hi, Sanji. Welcome back. We were gonna come get you. Alright, you're forgiven. Flying by, Luffy then says they need to meet up with everyone, and everyone runs by as Sanji is about to follow them, but then he turns and says to Pudding, sorry about all this, but try not hiding your eye. It looks cool. Yeah, I should. Wait, shut up. Sanji is already running off, however, and laughing as he and his captain have one more thing to do. Waiting at the borders of the island, the sun of the sea erupts to the skies as the team would exit the seducing woods and watch him freefall. Luffy! Jinbe, took you long enough. Got held up? As he lands, Jinbe receives a hug from his captain as they laugh like old friends who haven't seen one another in a while. But honestly, they haven't, and it really has been too long. It's been too long for this video to come out. Anyway, for Pedro, however, the contrast between the man who had just destroyed an entire notorious group turning into a version of the warm Luffy that he met is still a bit bizarre, but that's just who Luffy is. Harbinger. As he hears his name being called from the sea, Jinbei's friends would rise and they all take a bow. Luffy then jumps off of Jinbe, coming to a float as he crosses his legs. Present. Please take care of Jinbe. Please. In unison, they all ask him of this favor to protect their comrade, and Luffy smiles. Of course I will. Right, Jinbe? I'd be honored to be in your care, and in all of yours as well. Quickly, they all get warmed up to Jinbe again, and obviously he helped him quite a bit during the war when they went to get Ace, so he's as much of a friend to anyone on the crew as he is to Luffy. Carrot and Pedro also trust him because of his reputation as a man of honor, even if he works with pirates. Jinbei's just that guy. And Jinbei's crew with this information can now rest easy, as his right-hand man would step up. When they're not going back to the sea with us, obviously this is goodbye for now. Good luck, Jinbe. Luffy gets a transponder from his gate and tells it to send them up, and they begin to glow as they turn to light and slowly teleport. Jinbe gives one last wave before they completely disappear. Has Kaido honored Luffy's request? Why did Luffy call Sai? Find out in the next part of One Piece. This is the end of the video. Peace. I'm gone.